Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Aceikith Gaming. We're playing another League of Legends game, but this is not a ranked game. The reason why is because I've been testing a few champions to try and decide what my champion pool is going to be, and I'm sticking with a very few selective champions for the rest of this season and going into pre-season. Obviously we're coming close to the end of season 11 now. And instead of doing ranked games, I've been playing a fair few more normals and trying out different champions that I wouldn't normally particularly play. I've been actually getting some pro coaching as well, which has actually helped me quite a bit. So this is going to be a little bit of a strange one, and I'll go into the reasons why. We are playing Lillia top, which Lillia top has been it's been looking pretty decent. It has over the last, I'd say, couple of months, and the reason why is because that Lillia does quite a bit of damage, especially early. Her stats aren't necessarily tanky in aspect, but she does actually have some decent amount of like magic resist and armor in a way, and also she can kite a great deal because of her passive, which is the reason why I've decided to give Lillia a go. I wasn't really sure about what to go, but I knew that going into this game that I needed AP, and I didn't really have any AP champions that I could go top lane with. Normally I would have gone like Teemo, but I haven't actually bought himself. And I realised that Lillia is currently on free rotation, so I actually do not own Lillia either. But I have played Lillia jungle a couple of times, and I seem to have done okay. And Lillia is one of those champions that that is quite hard at first, but as you learn her, you can definitely tell. I've already gotten out the Yone flash. I'm against a Yone top, by the way, which I should be able to do quite well against, as I'm a ranged AP champion that can kite very well. I'm going against a melee matchup, so although Yone does have some dashes, as you can see, obviously, I should be able to do quite well against a Yone. But at first, I'm going to look to just try and get some XP, to try and get as much money in a moment. But we're going to start going into an all-in. I'll start level 3. The Yone's is only level 2. He tries igniting me to try and basically neutralise the trade, but he just doesn't deal enough damage, and so therefore I've effectively got a kill already. Unfortunately, it's going quite badly in mid lane already. Yasuo has already died twice, and we're only 3.5 minutes in. So I've gotten a cheeky kill already. Gangplank, which is known for scaling quite well nowadays, has already got a kill. Kane's already gotten a kill. Both of them 2 kills are against a Yasuo. But us getting an early kill before bearing in mind, we've not even got any items yet. All I've gone is Doran's ring with a couple of potions, and we've managed to kill the Yone already. And bearing in mind, he's brought Ignite into this game, we've brought TP. So we can try and be a little bit more effective around the map if need be. Obviously, I've got to try and make sure that Yone doesn't level up too fast that I can't really keep up with it. And also, obviously, keep an eye on that. Obviously, you know, when he gets his Ignite back with his ult as well, he may try and use both to try and get a sneaky kill. So that is pretty much my aim, is to try and get some XP. The mana usage is quite high on Lillia, by the way, as well, because she is naturally a jungler, so her mana is going to be quite high on usage, because of that. Obviously, should be getting blue buff very early on, so mana isn't traditionally a problem on Lillia, but that's because she's a jungler. She's not really a top laner, but she has been starting to see some play in top lane because of her kiting ability against melee champions, so like Yone, Yasuo as an example. You know, it's just using them two as an idea. Set, who is obviously gone set support, is another example. Set probably wouldn't be that good against a Lillia top because it's a range versus range it's a range versus melee matchup. Although Set does have some ways of gap closing quite easily with his ease, a good Lillia will know that all they need to do is just keep away from the distance of the E. You know, and Sets have to position them in a particular way to be able to get it off. So as long as a Lillia is smart, they won't allow that to happen. So at the moment, I'm just being a little bit careful because I don't know where the Kane is right now. He's already gotten a kill already as well. Nunu does help out the Yasuo to get a kill on the gangplank, which is great. Obviously getting 2 deaths very early on in 3.5 minutes isn't great, but he's managed to get a good kill with the help of the Nunu and Willem, which is great to see at this early stage. So I'm still just trying to keep nearest to my tower, because I know that if a Kane is ganking up to my lane, they have so many ways of being able to do that. And if I'm close-ish to my tower, it's going to stop him from being able to actually get in. As you can see now, he's going to attempt to dive me with the Yone as well. And I've realised that obviously Yone is now level 6, so he's going to immediately try and kill me. Yone gets a kill on me, but I do get the kill on the Kane. So I'm going to be honest, I do not mind that necessarily so much because of that exact reason. Yone also had ult. So I'm now just going to TP up to scare the Yone away. Obviously at this early stage in the game, I need to take advantage that I can still do effectively a decent amount of damage. And you can hear in the background, that is Gameplank's ult going off. He's obviously ulted somewhere, which I believe he ulted in bot lane. I could be wrong. Maybe even ulted mid actually, because Yasuo died yet again. So yeah, Yasuo not doing too great at the moment. 1 and 3. Only 16 farm by the way, so his farm's not even that great really. But obviously, you know, like Yasuo is same as Yone as well. That, you know, he will naturally get quite good, obviously, into the laser game because he does scale with crit. You know, that both of them do. Yone just tries to go in for a little trade, which I'm fine with. Like, you know, like we're doing fine. We've now also got Last Chapter, by the way, which is a very important item on Lillia. So now my mana is going to be very, very good. I see that the Kane is around. Nunu is just going to come in with a snowball. Just try and push in the lane a little bit. Try and help it to reset. But the Kane is around as well, so we've got to be aware of that. But Kane is going to do something a little bit weird and just start a reset. Obviously being a bit cocky. But if we can actually get something on the both of them and try and lure them out away from their tower a little bit, that would be great. But we both noticed that Kane is resetting. So now I start thinking, why don't we do health? But then Nunu is thinking, no, let's gank mid. So I think, okay, I'll go with them. See if I can try and land anything. Nothing's doing of that, unfortunately. So, but we do have a control ward that we can clear. So, obviously control wards is, you know, very important, I would say, for Nunu to be able to gank. Because obviously they'll notice a little bit sooner. Just shut down an E just to tell the Yone to go away. Obviously, I don't know when the Yone's gone, but he's probably backed at this point. But yeah, so we're near enough 10 minutes in to turn 1. We did get tower dive by the Kane and the Yone. The Yone ulted, and we still got a kill from that. We also got a kill against the Yone very early on before we reached level 3 when we did. So effectively, I would say we're doing quite well at the moment. Obviously, later into the game, we will be able to do pretty well in general because our AP damage is going to be extremely high. You know, they've got a Yone, they've got a Kane, and they've got a Gangplank. All 3 champions are quite tanky, so I'd say Lillia into this matchup is actually pretty good. And just obviously bear in mind that we've got a Nunu, so I didn't really need to go tank. So Yone goes into the trunk, goes for an all-in, and now Yone is in trouble. So you can see I use my ult after Yone uses his. He's very close to death, but just chuck an E in, and there goes the Yone. Kane is around, so I've got to be really careful. I'm going to try and get some passive stats and flash away. Obviously, bearing in mind, if you are being followed by a champion, especially one like Kane that's got a lot of movement, make sure you are getting some of your abilities down, because Lillia's passive will only work if you're actually landing hits on it. And that is pretty much what I did, was land a couple of abilities. My passive stats, which will allow my movement speed to increase, will allow me to move around the map a bit faster. And that was the only reason why I managed to get out. If I was playing a tanky champion, I probably wouldn't have escaped. Like, my main tank champion is Tahm Kench, which you've seen once before. Going into a match, I've played Tahm Kench. Extremely good tank nowadays, possibly the best tank actually, because he has very little counters, if any at all. Like, even his bad matchup doesn't even seem that bad, you know. And I've played quite a bit of Tahm Kench recently, you know, trying to discover what top laners, well, what position I want to be playing as my secondary position. As I said before, I want support to be my main position, but I have been practicing other roles, just in case, say for example, like, even if, say for example, I get auto hit, because that can happen as well. Yone trying to go for a little bit of an all-in. It's not the greatest of things, but obviously I can count quite well. So really, I would probably say, if in a way, Yone should be going for a little bit more of an all-in to try and stop me from being able to freely farm. But he's allowing me to farm a little bit freely and be able to cow it around it. So yeah, so I would say as he goes in for an all-in again, but he is in tower range. He does ignite me. Do I survive this one? I do. Only just, but I've got to be extremely careful. Yone obviously still can do a great amount of damage. As you can see, he tries going for an all-in. I die. He dies as well. So, we're doing quite effective. Yone used ult and ignite. I didn't even use my ult in all of that. Gangplank is able to get the first tower of the game, which is the mid-tier 1 tower. Aphelios goes in for an all-in on the Varus with the Morgana. And weirdly enough, Gangplank just uses ult at the last minute. I have no idea why. That was a completely wasted ult, in my view. You know, like, as if he was trying to steal the kill from Aphelios. I'm not entirely sure if he did actually get that. Actually, to be honest, I don't believe he did. No, he did not, no. Because you can see there, the Aphelios actually got the kill. So I think Gangplank may have gotten an assist. But if I'm entirely honest, I do kind of feel that Gangplank was trying to actually steal the kill, which isn't great. You know, like, Gangplank is already a little bit on the fed side at the moment. And Gangplank actually does get shut down by the Nunu. Which the Yasuo just got killed by the... yeah, the Yasuo just got killed by the Gangplank as well. I could use ult around about now, and I decided I'm going to use it now. Bang! Just a little bit of luck done, and you know, very effective. And I'm probably going to get killed by the Kane at this rate, possibly. But I'm going to try and do everything that I can to try and stop him. But I just do not do quite enough damage just yet. Although I have now just picked up my Leandra's Anguish, so that will help out quite a large amount. But another kill on the Yone, because the Yone chose going a little bit too greedy. But then you could possibly say that I'm getting a little bit greedy as well, because Kane is a little bit fed, but I know that coming into the later stages of the game, me going Leandra's Anguish, I will be able to deal with that quite well. It's just a matter of knowing how to deal with it. So Gangplank, as you just saw in that camera view, and he's going to do something in a minute. So you see the so just to the right hand side of me, as you're seeing on the screen, Yone is now mid. Try and guess what the Gangplank is. He should show himself up in a minute as I'm returning to lane. But while he does do that, when he shows himself up in a minute, you may have noticed Set is only level 4. That's because he's disconnected. Now, just a little spoiler, he doesn't return for the rest of the game. Now, I'm not sure if obviously maybe he had a little bit of a disconnection issue, maybe an internet issue. I've had a few myself personally. I have in the past few days or so. I'm not sure what's going on. But yeah, I have had a few internet issues, which is another issue to why last week's video came out a little bit late. But yeah, so Gangplank is our top lane. Naturally, Gangplank is a top laner, but Gangplank versus Lillia is quite interesting because Gangplank, technically you could say, is a melee champion, but I don't really see him as that. I see him more as a ranged champion. Gangplank almost catches me, but I'll get a little bit of cheeky, thrash down a Q, and I managed to kill the Gangplank. Even with Gangplank using his ult in top lane. But obviously Gangplank has now, just at this moment now, just bought his Immortal Shield Bow, his Rush Spell Weaver, which most Gangplanks do. But then he goes into a Immortal Shield Bow. So that will help him out quite a lot, because although I do burn damage, I do some burst damage, as you saw there. He still had a decent amount of health remaining in that, and all of a sudden he just got annihilated. And this Gangplank is quite fed, by the way. Like, you could probably say that I'm a little bit on the fed side, as Nunu gets another kill in bot lane, I believe. Yes, Gangplank actually TP'd in bot lane, and also splashed immediately, realizing, oh, this is a bad TP. I'm going in alone against two champions, one of which is actually a little bit fed themselves. Well, both of them are actually a little bit on the fed side. It was the Varus and the Nunu. So yeah, so I would say the only player that's not playing the best at the moment is the Yasuo, but he's just gotten a kill against the Yone, who's been doing quite badly at the moment, I would say. But obviously we don't have set around, so at the moment, and I will say he doesn't return for the rest of the game, like I said earlier on. Because the set doesn't return for the rest of this game, as I've said, this is now effectively a 4v5. So obviously we don't expect to win the game for the rest, really, but we're going to try the best we can. I'm quite fed, Nuna's quite fed, and Varus is doing quite well. Yasuo is a Yasuo, you know, he can even feed like crazy, but as soon as he gets 2 items, that's it. Gangplank does another weird ult, and I kind of feel that Gangplank is ulting without thinking. If not, he's kind of like ulting just to try and help base him a little bit. I don't know what the Gangplank's ult he's doing that for, really, necessarily, but yeah, it's just a little bit weird. It is, you know, I think he's wasted possibly 2, if not maybe even 3 ults now. So yes, the Gangplank has been doing quite well, but at this exact same time, he's kind of not doing well in the aspect that, you know, he's doing ults where he shouldn't be. So yeah, it is a little bit weird. So like, as you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm not actually trying to take the farm. All I'm trying to do is just try and build up my stacks, and so that way I can move around the map a little bit faster. And Yasuo tries going for an all-in on the Yasuo. I'm around as well, and I see that Yasuo's means that obviously he can do lifesteal, and he did go Immortal Shield Bow, which obviously that was proccing as well at the same time. I am going to take these walls, however, because that will help me out a little bit with regard to just trying to get some more not just the stats in that way I can freely move around the map, but at the same time, just try and get some more money, because I feel that because of how well I'm doing in this game, is that I'm actually needing to just try and increase my lead. I've got a bounty on me, as does the Varus. The Varus obviously will need it as well, but I need to just increase my lead as much as possible. The Yone is not doing that well. Kane's doing okay. Gangplank's doing okay, although his ults are questionable. And the Affiliates and the Morgana isn't doing the best as well themselves. So, but yeah, so the Kane is now coming to top lane, which is great for me. Gangplank does ult again, I believe is in the team fight, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so Gangplank dies, the Nunu dies as well. which possibly, and yeah, just like that, the Aphelios and the Morgana get killed. And bearing in mind, I'm not even in the fight, because of course the Kane to come up to top lane to respect that I'm going to be pushing in the waves quite aggressively, and because now he's out of position, he's come to mid lane as the tower gets destroyed. I've got my E on. I'm going to whack my ult on, and I'm going to try and get in as much damage as I can. And Kane tries and ult me. And I'm just going to let Yasuo just take the kill, because I'm low on health. I don't really need too many kills. That's my first assist of the game. That is as well. So, yeah, so we're now, excuse me, we're now starting to get Yasuo a bit fed now. So, yes, his lane phase wasn't that great. Bearing in mind, he was 0 and 2 going into lane phase. I do something a bit questionable. I tried going into an all-in. Wasn't really needed, but me and the Yasuo are both going to die here. Although Yasuo does get another kill on the Yone. So he knows that he's having a terrible game here right now. 21.5 minutes in, and already he's 281. All he's built is Immortal Shield Bow and Berserker's Greaves, which will help out in his attack speed. But that's all he's got. Me, however, I've already built a Mythic, Leandre's Anguish, a Sorcerer's Shoes. Excuse me. The Sorcerer's Shoes, because obviously I'm wanting to try and do AP damage. I was umming and ahhing whether to go Plated Steel Caps, because they are a full AD team apart from the Morgana. But I felt that I was so far ahead that I could be a little bit on the greedy side. So that is what I decided to do. We've also got Demonic Embrace, which will make us naturally tanky as well as being able to do damage. So it's able to, so it allows us to do two things at the same time. Morgana's going to try and get away. She only just about manages to do so. And I do have some stats that I can apply. I do. And I managed to just get a cube to try and whack down two people at the same time. We managed to get the Aphelios cut away, and the Yasuo gets a Kane. Brilliant teamwork. So while the Yasuo has turned around his game quite well against what is possibly a team that can focus him down extremely well. You know, you've got a Yone, you've got a Gangplank, and you've got a Kane. Yeah, Kane, Yone, and Gangplank. Obviously, I'm going to be able to kite around quite well. As long as I can get the backing alongside with the Yasuo. And you can see this, look. Like, our health bars wasn't that great going into that fight, but we both worked around very well together to be able to get that kill together. You know, and because of that, Yasuo is now starting to really peak up very, very well. So, Yasuo is going to start backing. Nunu's going to try and go all in. I'll whack down my E to try and see if there's anybody around, but yeah, there's nobody around sadly, until suddenly pops out the Kane. Nunu's out of position. I'll try and get myself into a good position, so in that way I can try and land in some damage. But the Nunu's going to just try and get away. I get queued by the Morgana. And the Nunu is going to try and get in the middle of everybody. And now Gangplank is going to just try and whack down ult. I'm going to be backing away to try and help out the Varus into trying to make sure that the Varus doesn't die. He's really low on health, but he manages to get away from the Kane, because the Kane now suddenly realised that, you know, you've got Lillia and Nunu around. And he's just not able to take down even the AD carry. And yeah, so it's a little bit unfortunate for the Kane. Gangplank goes in all on his own, I have no idea why. And not even a need for ult. Really, to be honest, bear in mind, I've still got my ult back. So yeah, and another thing to bear in mind, Set is not around, so this is a 4v5, we're winning a 4v5. We are at the moment. And technically, this shouldn't happen. You know, we've been without the set for so long. I believe he disconnected around about 10 minutes, maybe a bit earlier than that. So we've been without set, our support, for around about 15 minutes or so, maybe a bit longer than that. And we're doing this well already. So it shows how well the four of us are so well coordinated. I'm going to go back. I've now got level 16. I've now got my stopwatch, as well as a Seeker's arm guard. I would say possibly at this moment, the idea of getting Zhonya's hourglass is so important at this stage in the game. The reason being is because they are full AD. So if they're all just willing to pounce onto me so highly, I need to try and do as much as possible. I'm now going to use my ult, and I'm just going to block the gangplank to try and get him out of the picture. But I do kind of feel that the gangplank is possibly the problem at the moment. And I'll probably say he is. He is the problem in this matchup that I need to personally deal with. And that was so well done. Nunu's going to go in for an all-in. Possibly a little bit too overly aggressive. But I'm going to try and do what I can to try and back him up. But unfortunately I can't. I used Zhonya's, try and flash away, but just not quite able to, unfortunately. So a little bit of a waste of the use of Zhonya's. So yeah, so there was a little bit too much of over-aggression on our part. Nunu tried going all in. I probably should have let the Nunu die there. A little bit over-aggression in that particular outcome. Most of us do lose the Baron. Varus has done the smart thing by actually dragging out and not following up, because he's now the only one that's got the Baron buff. So if any of us are going to use Baron buff for the next couple of minutes, the Varus is going to be the only one that's going to be able to use it. So obviously at the moment it's going to be very important for us to not overextend too much. We've got the next Drake coming up in about a minute or so. We've got the first 3 Drakes, by the way. So in my eyes, like the way I'm thinking now is try and back the Varus up to allow him to do damage, but also allow him to basically dictate the team's next movements. That's basically kind of like my idea. So, but at the same time, I don't want to get too much, because you can see there was a ward there, so I'm just trying to seek out whereabouts they are. I'm just letting the Yasuo know that they're possibly in the bad place. Lillia for some reason just used the shield there. I have no idea why. And I should probably use, I just used my ult a bit too late there. Gangplank ult alongside with Kane ult. It's a little bit more of a problem. And because of that, the Yasuo dies as well. So another mistake, and this is the point in the game where, like I'd say, this is the only point in the game where I'd say I'm actively making mistakes that I don't need to. You know, we were quite far ahead before these couple of mistakes that I've just recently made. So now because of that, I've now started to allow the enemy team to catch up a little bit. Gangplank is now going to TP into the fight to try and stop Nunu from getting in. This makes Nunu use Snowball in a bit of a weird way. Nunu tried to protect the Varus, but he's just not able to, unfortunately. Nunu's going to flash away, going into the Drake pit. But it's going to be a matter of how can we try and fight from this point on now, really, because obviously they've got 5 players, we've only got 4, and obviously we didn't know that the set wasn't going to be around for the rest of the game. So that is kind of the problem that we've now kind of got. So yeah, so we've got Leandrews, we've now got the Zhonya's, so we've now got a 3rd item, which is a very important one, I would say, for this particular team fight. The Yasuo is going for an all-in. I'm a little bit behind because obviously I need to be building my stats up. We managed to get the kill on the gangplank, which is great. The Yasuo knows he's going to die though, which is a little bit unfortunate. And we just about managed to get away ourselves. I do need to be a bit careful because while I do want to keep my stacks up, I can't go in for an all-in because I'm all on my own. They've got 4 they have around there. So by me going all in, it can cause a little bit of a situation where I can easily get killed, especially because of the Morgana. So we managed to kill the Morgana. I'm going to try and get some ults in. Yeah, I use my ult, which forces the Kane to ult, where he doesn't really want to go to because he only dealt damage to Nunu recently. And so, ideally he wants to be ulting me. I'm kind of like the main character, I'd say, in a way at the moment. I'm alongside with the Varus. Yasuo is going to be able to carry a little bit later. But he has now got his free item. So he went Bloodfast second, by the way. He did, and he's also got Mortal Reminder. So I do kind of expect him to go. He's possibly going to go Death Stance next because there's just so much physical damage going on, which is possibly a great item to go actually into this particular matchup because there's so much AD in the team. So obviously now I'm now starting to think about what I could possibly go. Now there is a few choices that I could possibly go. I just need to remember because one item that I did think about was Dead Man Plate, because then that allows me to scout around a little bit more. Yasuo gets the shutdown on Raphelio, who has himself been getting his game a little bit better recently as well. I'm unfortunately not able to quite catch up, so I do have to leave that battle alone. But Baron is back up, and we could possibly look to try and do Baron for the second time. We did get Baron quite early on. But yeah, so this is kind of my idea, is that we could try and do Baron again. But we do need the Nunu, who is down at the red at the moment. Obviously the rest of our troops are still there. So we're going for an all-in on the Kane. Bowers gets a very neat kill, obviously backed up by me and the Yasuo. Both me and the Yasuo kind of tanked it both together. As you can see now, the Yone's gone top lane, while there is a major problem down at mid lane. We've got an inhibitor while Yone is in top lane, which I kind of have no idea why he went there in the first place. So all while that's going on, the Yasuo gets killed as well, but we managed to kill the gangplank in that as well. So, but I'll probably say that's kind of not worth it, because obviously, you know, the Yasuo has now given over another bounty, I believe, as well as I did. Drake is also about to come up as well, which we don't want to be giving too many Drakes if we can help it. We've given away one we have so far, and that was because all of us had died during that, unfortunately. Nunu is going to steal the blue buff away from the enemy team. Nunu is also just going to get the Scuttle Crab pretty quickly and make sure that he gets out of there. Excuse me. So yeah, so Nunu's doing pretty well in getting all of the objectives as much as possible. We managed to get every single objective apart from one, and that is one Drake. Yasuo is now going to start going top lane to try and deal with the Yone who's split pushing. But yeah, you can see Nunu desperately wants this particular one. I'll take the Q damage from the Morgana Q. And as you can see, I'm going to try and do as much damage as I physically can. And I'm just trying to get a little bit more. I'm just not quite able to do enough damage at this point, and it feels like that maybe because I've gone obviously a tanky AP item as Leandri's, and I've also gone Zonya's to try and protect myself, I've now not quite done as much damage. Plus also I have made some questionable decisions. So you can kind of say that really, like, I do need to try and do a little bit more. bit of a bad ult from the Aphelios. But they do manage to get another Drake off of that for the opposing team. So it's a little bit unfortunate. Technically, obviously they won't obviously hear the fact that there is an ace, but technically they have ace stuff because obviously Set isn't in the game right now. So I'll start believing now that they're going to start going towards Baron, but the question is, can we get the Baron? My thinking was that we probably won't be able to at this very moment, but I do see also that Yone has now gone to mid lane to try and stop the wave coming in. As soon as I seen that and then I saw the cane, I thought, and I think Nunu thought the exact same thing as well, that they've allowed us effectively to get Baron ourselves. It's a bit questionable when they technically got an ace. You know, they haven't seen Set in such a long time. So yeah, so we managed to get Baron. Unfortunately, like obviously I realised this soon after, but Varus missed out on Baron buff by just a few seconds. So, so obviously it's a little bit unfortunate. Gangplank is now starting to come towards top lane river and goes towards mid. And I see that there's 4 people in mid lane. So I think to myself now at this point, let's start pushing top lane a little bit. We've got Baron as well. But I believe I do have actually a quite strong amount of gold. So yeah, I do have a strong amount of gold if I remember correctly. So yeah, so at this point, we go Riley's Crystal Scepter. We got after getting killed in the team fight before we got Baron again, which should help us out quite a lot to catch up to them. The next item that we're going to go now is Momoelicon. This should be our final item. And yeah, so Morgana's shield is a little bit questionable, I would say as well. Reason being is because she's naturally shielding herself the very moment that I get anything onto them. Which maybe might be a good idea for them. Kane's now going to just try and do as much damage. He actually tries and use Yasuo as a way to get to me. And both me and Yasuo, yet again, both just working together very, very well. You know, and that is what it's taking. It's just taking us lot, the whole entire thing. It's not just me and Yasuo. It's the whole entire team of us, all just working together very well. So Gangplank obviously just trying to be a bit sneaky with a barrel. We did notice him and he gets killed for it. Being very pushed in. He shouldn't have really have been there knowing that there's 3 of us there. Excuse me. I think they all this talking without doing probably annoying the throat a little bit. But yeah, so we're now just scouting around. Here we are. So at the moment, we're near enough for full build. I'm just going to try and steal these walls. We are now. Just get them very easy money for us now at this point. And now we're going to nick the blue buff. And I'm going to take blue buff for myself on that as well. Because I am an AP. Well, you could possibly say that I am an AP bruiser. You know, the way that Lillia kites around on AD champions or melee champions is that she is a bruiser champion, but she's AP and not AD. I'm going to just try and scout away the Kane a little bit. I just did that W to see. Obviously, I'm still learning Lillia a little bit at the moment. And I decided to just do that to see if Lillia can leap over walls by using W. Obviously, I discovered that no, that is not the case. Kane's going to try and come in, but with the obscene amounts of burn damage, it's just never really going to catch up to a Lillia, I don't think, at this point. So, obviously, Drake is going to be up very, very shortly. So it'll be a good idea that if we want to get this next Drake, which is ideal that we do, we get around where Baron is. But Gangplank is doing a neat little thing at the moment by just trying to take our bot lane tower at our base. I believe he does actually manage to do that. Yes, he does. And he managed to get the inhibitor also. You know, a little bit of an issue we've got there. And as you can hear, obviously we don't know that, but obviously they've just done Drake. So this is now 3 Drakes in a row that they have managed to get. And yeah, so Nunu died for that, but yeah, like she was only in the Drake pit because she's just trying to take the Drake, obviously. And so we're now running into a bit of a problem because we took the first 3 Drakes. They've now taken the last 3 Drakes. So this match is pretty much kind of going all the way in the aspect of that. Obviously, we took the first 3 Drakes, they've taken the next 2, and they managed to get a Q down onto me with the Morgana. I'm going to flash away and just make sure that I get... And Gangplank just tries to ult me down as well to try and reduce my movement speed, but Lillia is just so far that it just doesn't really phase a Lillia. It really doesn't, if, like, you know, at max stats as well. So we managed to get away from that. Kane could have possibly have ulted me as well. I'm not sure if he did have his ult up at the time. So, and as you can see by the timer, we're not even close to being finished yet. And we're 40 minutes in. This is only a normal game. And typically, League of Legends matches are typically over in around about 25 minutes to half an hour. This is 42 minutes in now. We're just about to clock 42 minutes. And we're still going. It's still any team's game. And I kind of believe that if we obviously had the set around, obviously he hasn't been around since around about 10 minutes in. That if we obviously had the set around, I believe this possibly would have been over a long time ago. But we're still trying very hard. I get the shutdown on the Aphelios. I'm going to just try and get the sleep on the Gangplank, but he uses W, then that way he doesn't even get stunned, which is something really I didn't take into account during the team fight, which is a little bit of a shame. Yone is now split pushing top lane, which I kind of need to deal with at this very moment. But I have also managed to get my Moelicon, so I am now officially full build. And Gangplank is also shoving in the base tower. And I just think to myself, just getting killed no matter what, yeah, is so important that we get him killed out of the way before he does any further damage. So very good job from myself and the Varus for that. Varus has done exceptionally well, especially considering he hasn't had a support, you know, for pretty much the entire game. You know, so, you know, the Yasuo's doing okay. Yes, he has got a lot of deaths, and maybe that is something that he can definitely work on. But it's a Yasuo player. You know, he is an all-in champion. You know, and as well as myself, he is also full build. Nunu and Willem is also full build, and as well as the Varus. So all 4 of us, respectively, are now all full build. Like, I'm just having a look at the opposing players. Kane is full build, Gangplank is, as well as the Aphelios. The Morgana isn't full build just yet, and neither is the Yone. Yone is actually quite far behind as where, as opposed to where, like, obviously having, and yeah, I did something very, very silly there. I got a little bit too greedy in getting killed there by the Gangplank. I just not giving them enough respect. And as you can see, we've got a bit of a problem at base again. We have with regard to minions. Yasuo is going to help out the Nunu. Just try and clear all of these away before our base is fully open. Gangplank is kind of thinking about doing Baron. He has been pinging it quite a good amount. And I think he's kind of not fed up. He's just gone, you know what, I'm just doing it myself. You know, if you lot aren't willing to do it, I am just doing it on my own, whether you like it or not. You know, which I would say, Gangplank is actually making this good strategic choice by getting Baron. Our base is pretty much open now, apart from top lane. It's near enough completely fully open. So by them not actually doing it, Baron, I think it's actually a very poor choice. And I see a very good opportunity. I TP directly into the fight to try and back up the Nunu. So that way the Kayn isn't able to get into the Drake pit. Varus gets ulted by the Kayn. Which again, this is something that really, to be honest, has been very good with the Kayn. As you can see, Varus is now going nuts. He's already got a quadra kill, just need to kill the Aphelios.
Shut down.
Varus gets shut down, but he does get the Pincer. So a pentakill for the Varus, although he did die himself. So Nunu's now just going to push in the wave at mid as much as possible. I am just going to try and get the inhibitor right now before it becomes a situation where we can't really do it, because Yone is about to revive, as well as that Morgana's about to come back as well. So I am now just going to casually walk away from the enemy base, and I'm probably just going to steal a few camps now, because this is now my thinking. Yes, I'm full build, but now I'm thinking that my movement speed is this high. Do I actually need boots at this point? So my thinking now goes, do I get rid of boots and go for another item? This is a possibility, and Lillia is one of those champions that you can go mega late game. Look, I've also got Riley Scepter, as well as that, obviously. So their movement speed is going to be even lower. Kayn's obviously was wanting to get a bugs, but I'd already got that. So, but yeah, my thinking now goes: do I get rid of boots and buy another item? And my idea is either I get Dead Man's Plate, which allows me to catch up to them even quicker. But my idea also is, could I get Frozen Heart? Now the reason why Frozen Heart is because they are full AD. If I get Frozen Heart and then go into another big team fight, I could actually slow down their attack force, because they are all AD. They're all AD down, like AD speed as well. Whether it be the Kayn, the Yone, and the Fellows, and the Gameplay. All of them actually do a crazy amount of AD damage because of their speed. I'm a little bit late to a fight. The Yasuo is already dead. The Varus unfortunately misses. But did get the kill on the Aphelios. The Varus gets another triple kill, killing the Morgana, the Gangplank, and the oh no, I killed the Yone, and the Varus killed the Aphelios. I do have to urgently get back because of the Kayn about to kill me, so I'll get back and just run heal up as much as I possibly can, but I'm not really going to be quite quick enough to get to the fight. But Nuno and Willem is thankfully able to just deter away the Kayn. So my idea is now, we could possibly end this, but Kayn will be back there by now, and as you can see, he's now fully back there now. We haven't actually done quite as much as opposed to getting towers, but the only section of the map for us that is fully open is mid lane. Bot lane, even tier 1 is still up. As well as that, obviously top lane, tier 2 is still not done. So our idea now is to try and get our third Baron of the game. This is now our idea. I do believe, yeah, Elder Drake will be coming up soon as well. So my thinking is now, can we get Baron? It's definitely a possibility. But the enemy team are also around. I'm now just going to whack down the Gangplank as much as possible, because I know my ult isn't really going to do much, but he dies anyway. So much damage. And this is surprising to me, and Aphelios is completely annihilated. So much damage, it's a joke. And I will be honest, I didn't expect that amount of damage, if I'm entirely honest. And somehow, among all of that, Yasuo gets a double kill. Varus does exceptionally well, and Nunu is just about alive, somehow, some way. So we're going to do Baron again. Obviously the death timer is quite long now. It is at this point. Now we can pretty much just push in mid lane. Obviously our bot lane is quite a problematic. Reason being is because our bot lane wave has now crashed into our tower hugely. So Varus is going to protect that and make sure that we win, I would say, an extremely tough game to no fault of anybody in our team. But the reason being is because we fought a legit 4v5 for possibly about 40 minutes. And we still managed to win this game somehow, some way. So a very, very classic game of League of Legends in the aspect of we did have to work very hard, but the unnatural aspect of it is that we have only 4 champions, you know, fighting 5 champions. But obviously that is extremely difficult to do, but it's still doable, as was shown. We still managed to win somehow. So I am going to leave it there. However, that game lasted a little over 50 minutes. That game did, and as you can possibly see down at the bottom of the screen, just to the left hand side of me as looking in the screen, I did buy Frozen Heart right at the end just in case I did need it, but of course at the end of it all we didn't. So I'm gonna leave it there though. This was a phenomenal game. A lot of death did happen. I got killed 10 times, so did the Nunu. Yasuo died 16 times. Yone died 14. Gangplank died 20 times. And the only player that didn't have a double-digit death rate, a double-digit death, apart from Set, because obviously he was AF, because obviously he had disconnected since a little bit before pre-6 in bot lane, was the Varus. He only died 6 times in what was a 50-minute game, which is astonishing for an AD character. So he did exceptionally well, especially. But we all played our part. It was definitely exceptionally difficult, given the fact, but we all worked very well together. So I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give a like on the video, as it does help out a lot as well. And it also gives me knowledge on what you like as well. You know, if you want to see me playing Lillia top a little bit more, maybe even Lillia jungle if I plan to play jungle again a little bit in the near future as well. Or even if I get autofill to jungle, I might play Lillia again. Because Lillia is definitely an enjoyable champion. Bear in mind, I don't play Lillia at all. And also, if you do want to view further content such as this, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. But for now, I'm going to leave it there. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you guys next time.